Friday, July 5. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. After dumping inches of rain on the island on Sunday, meteorologists are reporting that Tropical Storm Elsa has weakened and it's moved away from Jamaica and heads towards Cuba. The storm caused flooding across some sections of the island, such as St. Thomas and St. Catherine. Some major thoroughfares in capital Kingston, such as Marcus Garvey Drive, Hagley Park Road, to name a few, were inundated on Sunday. At 4 a.m., the center of Tropical Storm Elsa was located near latitude 21.0 degrees north, longitude 79.9 degrees west. Elsa is moving toward the northwest near 22 kilometers per hour, and this general motion is expected to continue today, followed by a turn toward the north-northwest on Tuesday. On the forecast track, Elsa is expected to move across central and western Cuba later today and pass near the Florida Keys early Tuesday. Elsa is then forecast to move near or over portions of west coast of Florida on Tuesday and Wednesday. Maximum sustained winds remain near 100 kilometers per hour with higher gusts. Some strengthening is possible before Elsa moves over Cuba later today, followed by some weakening while the center moves over land. Slight re-strengthening is forecast after Elsa moves over the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Meteorological Service will continue to monitor the progress of the system. The public is being advised not to cut or otherwise damage utility cables. The caution is coming from telecommunications provider Flow. Flow says conditions associated with Tropical Storm Elsa may have caused some of the company's cables to become loose from poles or to be shifted out of position. The public is being asked to contact Flow's Emergency Operations Center at 876-929-9834 or 876-929-9835 if any of the described conditions are observed, and a crew will be dispatched to carry out repairs as soon as it is safe to do so. There was no vaccination blitz over the weekend owing to the inclement weather brought by Tropical Storm Elsa. In a release, the Health and Wellness Ministry had advised that no vaccines would be administered on Sunday, July 4. Persons who have made second dose appointments for Sunday are asked to revisit the Ministry of Health and Wellness's website or call the Vaccination Call Center at 888-1-LOVE, that's 663-5683, to make a new appointment. The public is being reminded that they are not fully vaccinated until they have received their second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine, and as such are still required to follow the infection control and prevention protocols outlined by the ministry. These include wearing a mask, sanitizing, physical distancing, hand washing, and following the measures outlined in the Disaster Risk Management Act. The governments of Jamaica and the United States of America have agreed on changes to the operational protocols necessary to improve the functioning of the Shiprider agreement. That is, the accord under which both countries cooperate to curtail illicit maritime drug trafficking. Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith told the Senate that these new procedures became effective as of June 16, 2021.
It is hoped that with these improved procedures, the challenges experienced in recent cases will not be repeated. Mr. President, I assure this chamber that the representatives on both sides engaged in constructive dialogue and written exchanges in a spirit of cooperation and comity.
Senator Johnson-Smith, who is also leader of government business in the Senate, says the improved agreement will help to protect the interests of Jamaican citizens who may be intercepted at sea pursuant to the agreement.
With the finalization of the operational protocols, Mr. President, both parties, both countries, stand to benefit from an improvement in the sharing of critical information and in the process of interception of vessels suspected of being involved in drug-related criminal activities at sea. The protocols also allow the government of Jamaica to achieve its goals of strengthening the fight against illicit drug-related activities, while at the same time protecting the interests of Jamaican citizens who may be intercepted at sea pursuant to the agreement.
The Jamaica Public Service is appealing to the government to help stamp out electricity theft by dedicating a special utility court to deal with the cases. The Light and Power Company brought up the issue at a joint select committee of Parliament reviewing the 2015 Electricity Act last week. Here's more in this report. JPS representatives, in giving a situation report, explained that electricity theft remains high at approximately 20% of generation.
We are faced with just over 200,000 households stealing electricity each and every year. That needs to stop. Electricity theft is widespread, and so it's not just concentrated in one particular parish. It's right across the island.
JPS Senior Vice President for Customer Service Ramsey McDonald says electricity theft has become a part of Jamaica's culture.
This has been a way of life for many persons. And so there's a high degree of encouragement and social acceptance and indifference to stealing power. That cannot continue. That has to stop. So what are we doing about it as JPS? We have invested over $150 million to reduce electricity theft.
He says even with multi-million-dollar technical solutions, more work needs to be done to reverse this criminal practice.
We created the Community Renewal Division to tackle electricity theft. We recognize the social economic drivers of theft, and therefore we went into putting in various programs. And you'll see where we've worked in communities to do various social investment, vocational training, health and wellness fairs. We've tried to reach the people where they most need help.
Mr. McDonald says JPS cannot change the culture of electricity theft on its own. He says they'll need the help of government, starting with a special court.
What are we saying coming out of this? Simply put, first and foremost, we need to have a framework in which we can manage electricity theft. And one of the key supports we need from government is having special programs in place, a special utility court, critical to ensuring that there's a level of enforcement, critical, specially trained police teams to help us to manage what is a crime. And JPS, I can assure you, is not a crime-fighting organization.
Mr. McDonald says his team is willing to work alongside the police in their efforts to stem the practice of electricity theft. There are few plants more versatile than bamboo. Bamboo can be used to make anything from furniture to utensils and can even be used for construction. In this feature from Marlon Samuels, we take a closer look at this perennial and diverse plant.
It looks like a tree stretching into the air, but it's actually a grass, and it can grow by 1 meter or 3 feet in 24 hours. We're talking about bamboo. Across the world, there are over 1,000 different species of bamboo. The largest species found in Jamaica is the Bambusa vulgaris. There's an estimated 65,000 hectares of bamboo in Jamaica. Bamboo is regarded as a miracle plant that comes with a wide variety of uses. China has been using bamboo paper to write on since the Han Dynasty, which was some 200 years before Christ. It's also used medicinally because of its antibacterial properties. Bamboo shoots or sprouts can be eaten. It's high in fiber, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. You can order a range of dishes made from bamboo, including salads, soups, and stir-fry dishes. One can also sip on a cold beer from this grass. The diverse use of bamboo is almost never-ending. Recently, we are seeing bamboo transformed into fabrics. Some say it's as soft as silk. Bamboo is used globally as a building material. This is owing to its compressive strength, which some say is even stronger than concrete. In fact, its strength makes it a perfect replacement for tensile steel when reinforcing concrete. Aside from being durable and eco-friendly, bamboo as a construction material is inexpensive. Here in Jamaica, bamboo is also used as an alternative construction material. It is used to create beautiful floorings, accessories such as rugs, and wicker furniture, which is quite popular. The plastic ban has been a blessing in disguise, forcing local manufacturers to seek out eco-friendly alternative materials. One such Jamaican company is the Little Bamboo Hut. They transform the versatile bamboo plant into straws, utensils, plates, and pens. Tourism remains one of the mainstays of Jamaica's economy. Again, bamboo adds to the island's GDP with its myriad of uses in this vital industry. When you see menta bands welcome visitors to our shores, the last thought on your mind would be of bamboo. But guess what? Some of the musical instruments being used by these band members are made from bamboo. The rafts that carry visitors down the beautiful Rio Grande River are made of bamboo. Jamaica has been taking steps to expand its bamboo industry to tap into the lucrative global market for bamboo products, which is estimated at US $10 billion. The island is also using it for construction of low-cost houses, which are also producing value-added products such as furniture and charcoal. Not only is it being used in Jamaica as an alternative to traditional charcoal, it is now being exported. In fact, Jamaica is the first country in the world to export bamboo charcoal to the United States. From here, the sky's the limit to what the bamboo plant can be used to do. With its high adaptability, one can never know where the bamboo production will lead us next. What is certain, however, that any bridge that the island can now build to economic prosperity will more likely be made from bamboo. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Marlon Samuels.
We now get the latest market update in this quick business report with Gabriel Thompson.
In Friday's trading session, the JSE combined index declined by 2,208 points to close at over 426,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 92 stocks, of which 34 advanced, 44 declined, and 14 traded firm. The junior market index declined by 0.21 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for Access Financial Services Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Blue Par Group Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica, 1834 Investments Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company. Trading firm were Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited, Community and Workers of Jamaica CCU Deferred Share, and Everything Fresh Limited. Future Energy Source Company Limited ordinary shares was the volume leader with over 6 million units, followed by Pulse Investments Limited with over 900,000 units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 700,000 units. In foreign exchange trading for Friday, July 2, the US dollar sold for an average $150.45. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $122.64. The pound sterling traded for $209.23, and the euro sold for an average $180.99. In market data for oil, prices rose on Monday, driven higher by a disagreement inside OPEC Plus about output policy that led to a third day of talks to try to break an impasse among producers in the group. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, a group known as OPEC Plus, resumed talks on Monday after failing to reach a deal last week amid a standoff between Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. Brent crude futures added 30 cents to $76.47 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude gained 32 cents to settle at $75.48 a barrel. And on that note, we close this Monday edition of the Business Report Inside the News on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Pleasant viewing.
In regional news, though the first crop of the period January to June raked in big bucks for Guyana on the market, farmers lost 3,000 acres that were unable to be harvested due to flooding. More details from Newsroom Guyana.
Guyana's rice industry still managed to turn over a huge profit in the first crop lasting January to June, despite the weeks of heavy rainfall that resulted in high levels of flooding countrywide. More than 200,000 acres of rice were sown for this period, and thankfully, farmers were able to harvest 95% of it. However, the Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa, reported on Friday that some 3,000 acres were unable to be saved.
Some of the crop were left in the field and were unable to rice. You know, rice is a thing that when water normally go into the field and it's ready to reap, it started to fall and a lot of rice fell and it was in the mud. So about 3% of the crop we did not get to reap. That amounted to close to about 3,000 acres that were not reaped.
On the market, Guyana was able to rake in more than US $123 million profit, despite the volume of rice exported dropped by 4% when compared to the same period in 2020, the Agriculture Minister explained. Now, keen attention is being paid to the second crop. According to the minister, more than 90,000 acres have been planted, but the floodwaters are still a big concern. Areas in regions 3, 5, and 6 that are big on rice production are being monitored by the government, and currently an assessment is ongoing to determine just how much has been lost. Minister Mustafa said that a report will be presented as early as Monday.
This crop, however, we are now doing an assessment what is happening. So far, when the flood came, we had close to about between 80 to 90,000 acres that were sown. We might have a substantial loss in terms of flooding because the young rice plant and so might die out. So we are now conducting an assessment because, as His Excellency would have said, that we will have to ensure that we give back help to the farmers to go back to the land. As I am speaking here, our teams are mapping out around the country. We are working with the local teams like the RDC, the NDC, the Ministry of Local Government and other stakeholders to verify the losses that farmers would have suffered during this flood. And that goes not only for rice, but cash crop and livestock.
The flood situation, according to the minister, is the worst one seen in 41 years. He said that the flood of 2005, though devastating, was nothing compared to the high levels of water seen in 2021. The minister, in a recent interview with Agro Mass News in Brazil, noted that a preliminary assessment revealed that over 90% of crops and livestock were destroyed when the rains came, resulting in floodwaters as high as 20 feet. Since the flooding, the government has embarked on a rigorous campaign to bring relief to affected Guyanese. The Civil Defense Commission has received overwhelming support in their bid to gather data to determine losses. A team from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency was also in the country, conducting a detailed disaster sector assessment on the flood situation. Their report is expected to be submitted soon. Reporting for the newsroom, I am Shakima Day.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the Joint Consultative Council for the Construction Industry is welcoming the move by the Prime Minister to allow private construction to resume its operations on Monday. JCC President Fazar Khan says the industry has eagerly been awaiting and is roaring and ready to go. Sunil Lala has more.
It has been a long, hard couple of months for the construction industry, according to President of the Joint Consultative Council for the Construction Industry, Fazar Khan. And he's assuring that all COVID-19 protocols will be in place on site, similar to what was in place last year when the construction industry was reopened to prevent any spike in cases. Mr. Khan says he was not at all surprised when the Prime Minister allowed private construction to resume rather than just state activities.
Talking about operations on sites which are well controlled, and from the last year's experience with the protocols being rolled out in the construction sector and in the other sectors as well. We are one of the sectors that actually did publish and took some proactive action.
Mr. Khan says most, if not all, businesses would be ready to resume their operations tomorrow.
I think people have been preparing themselves. This is an existential crisis in terms of people and their families, and you saw what happened with the truckers recently. So I think you'll see a burst of activity tomorrow on the sites.
But the JCC president regrets that not all companies in the construction industry may have made it to the other side and might not be ready for operations on Monday.
There are companies that I know for sure would have indicated that they had laid off everybody. And when we indicated that we need to start up, they would have to put things in place. And I'm certain some of them are not able to put things in place quickly.
Mr. Khan, though, is hoping that more vaccines would be allocated to the construction industry, estimating that only around 10% of the sector would have been vaccinated. Sonolala, TTT News.
In St. Kitts and Nevis, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Commerce says as vendors are being taken off the sidewalks of the Trin Republic's capital, Basseterre, a different approach is being discussed by Cabinet. Glenn Bart reports.
As vendors are taken off the sidewalks of Basseterre, a different approach is being discussed by Cabinet, said Minister of Trade, Industry and Commerce, Wendy Phipps. Speaking at a recent NEOC COVID-19 briefing, she said the locations for non-agricultural vendors have been reviewed, and the idea is to create a more controlled environment that will facilitate the growth and development of these micro-entrepreneurs.
There are several spots on the industrial estate that are being looked at in terms of housing small business operators who are plying their trades on the sides of the street, but are not necessarily agriculturally based in terms of their inventory for sale. This includes persons, for example, who sell clothing, others who sell educational supplies, as is the case of one vendor on Bank Street. And it is meant to develop in areas where we can drive traffic to them so that they continue to receive patronage, but at the same time to be able to do it safely. In the context of the Ministry of International Trade, what we are doing is to create a business incubator model whereby they might be able to share a common space and have in common a conference room, the use of a secretary to support what they're doing, bathroom facilities, etc. And then they pay a nominal rent until they're able to afford a bigger type of bricks and mortar arrangement where they can choose a more permanent location on their own. And together with that project from the SBDC would be the services that go along with the development of such a business, such as the training in terms of accounting procedures, marketing, pricing, packaging, etc. And by extension, we are also working on similar arrangements for our agro-processors, those people who manufacture bottled drinks, confectionery, jams, jellies, etc., condiments like ketchup, etc., marmalade, whatever might be the case.
Minister Phipps said a committee of the Planning and Control Board is looking at the long-term response to the on-the-street micro-entrepreneur situation in Basseterre. Glenn Bart for SKN Newsline.
In sports, the Tokyo Olympic Organizing Committee signaled on Monday that it will change its ticket policy this week for any local fans hoping to attend. This comes with the pandemic-delayed Olympics opening in just under 3 weeks. According to an AP Sports report, organizers, the International Olympic Committee and others are expected to meet this week to announce new restrictions because of the fast-changing coronavirus situation. Organizers said a ticket lottery set for Tuesday was pushed back to Saturday to accommodate any changes. Fans from abroad were banned months ago from attending. 2 weeks ago, organizers and others agreed to allow indoor and outdoor stadiums to be filled to 50% capacity with a ceiling of 10,000. Japanese news reports suggest the maximum may be dropped to 5,000 at all venues. Some unconfirmed reports have suggested that no fans is still an option and that fan limits for night sessions could be stricter than day sessions. And that's our package. On behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching PBCJ. We are the People's Station.